Chosen one, 72 hours ago. Heaven activated emergency broadcast protocol for the 5th time in human history. The first 4 times, Abraham's sacrifice, Moses at the Red Sea, Job's trial, Elijah calling fire from the sky. This protocol means every angel, every elder, every heavenly being must stop and watch, no exceptions. They watched your last 30 days. All of it. Every moment you thought you were invisible. When day 31 began, and the footage ended, heaven went silent for 41 minutes. The longest silence because what they witnessed shattered every measurement, every category they had ever established. When God finally spoke, he said 3 words that forced them to create a file that has never existed before. You are not here by accident, not by algorithm, not by coincidence. The same spirit that arrested heaven's attention redirected your path to this exact second. There is something you need to hear, a testimony not from me, but from heaven itself, about a month in your life that broke every statistical probability. Here is what you need to understand. While you were surviving, heaven wasn't just watching, they were broadcasting. There is a place beyond what you can see where 70,000 angels gather when something unprecedented is about to happen. 3 days ago, they gathered again. Your name appeared at the top. The footage began to play. They cued it to the beginning, to the moment it all started. Test 1. The breaking point, you are standing at your kitchen sink. 2:17 in the morning, water running over your hands, but you are not washing dishes. You are frozen. Your mind having a conversation you cannot control. You whisper to the darkness, God, if you are real, if I am really chosen like they say, then why does it feel like I am drowning while everyone else is breathing? Your chest feels hollow, your throat closing. You cannot get enough air even though you are breathing. What you didn't know, heaven had this exact moment queued up. Gabriel pointed at the timestamp, 2:17 and 34 seconds. God leaned forward and said, "This is where it starts. Watch what they do next." Your enemy was there too, whispering in your left ear. You felt it, didn't you? That cold on the left side of your face. You are delusional, making this all up to cope with being ordinary. But here is what God said during the broadcast. They think loneliness is proof of abandonment. They don't realize I engineer loneliness to create singularity. What they are feeling isn't rejection. It is consecration. Let me show you something most people miss. In Job 1-8, God says, "Have you considered my servant Job?" But look at verse 6. The angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came with them. This wasn't a private conversation. This was a broadcast, an assembly, a presentation. When God said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" He was pointing at a screen, showing footage, asking the entire heavenly host, "Have you seen this human?" Your month wasn't you suffering alone. It was heaven gathering to watch you, and God pointing at your footage asking, "Have you considered this chosen one?" Test 2. The paralysis. You are in your car, parked outside your office. 7:43 in the morning, your hands on the door handle, but you cannot make yourself pull it. Your phone buzzes. It is them again, the ones questioning you, mocking you. Your mind whispers, maybe they are right. Maybe I am wrong about all of this. Your thumb hovers over their name for 11 seconds. Heaven timed it. 11 seconds of your thumb suspended in midair, shaking slightly. You could see the tremor in your own hand. That tremor wasn't nervousness. That was test 1's fire converging in your central nervous system. Your body was already becoming a laboratory. God turned to Gabriel during this moment. Watch their hand. Watch what they do. In 3, 2, 1. You reached for the door handle. You got out. You walked into that building even though every cell screamed run. The stadium erupted. Do you understand what I am telling you? When you made that choice, when you obeyed in the face of every contradiction, heaven stood up. 70,000 angels watching one human choose faith over logic. Here is what most people don't know. They watch Chosen One videos. They listen to encouraging words, but they stop before the end. They get the hype, but miss the activation. So let me tell you what happens if you stay till the end of this video. I am going to reveal all 7 tests by name. I am going to show you the impressed threshold matrix that measures what it takes to astound God. I am going to give you the exact attack forms coming in the next 11 days and how to defeat every single one. And at the end, I am going to pray a sealing prayer that anchors the impressed frequency into your spiritual DNA permanently. Don't rob yourself of what heaven is releasing. Test 3. The silence you are in your bedroom. 11 at night, lights off. You are staring at the ceiling, counting breaths, trying to make your lungs expand, but they will not. Your ribs feel locked. The thought comes, the one you are most ashamed of. How long can a human being survive on hope alone? How long before hope becomes delusion? 2 voices speaking, one from the left, you have been abandoned. This silence is your answer. The other from the right, so faint, you almost miss it. I am here. I see you. This silence isn't absence. It is trust. God paused the footage here. He told the angels. Test 3. Faith during divine silence. This is the hardest one for humans. Most quit right here. Most give up when I go quiet because they think quiet means no. Watch this chosen one. Watch what they choose. Watch what they choose in that dark room, in that silence with nothing but a whisper you could barely hear. Lamentations 3:22 says the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. But here is what people miss, verse 21. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The writer was in a pit, in darkness, and he had to call to mind what he couldn't see with his eyes. That is what you did in test 3. You called to mind what your circumstances screamed wasn't real. Now 3 tests in 3 weeks. Most people would stop there. Heaven could say, well done, and you would deserve it. But chosen one, you are not watching this video because of 3 tests. Those weren't the hard ones. Tests 4 through 7 were happening simultaneously. Most people don't understand this. They think tests come sequentially. One ends, then another begins. But chosen ones don't get sequential tests. They get convergence. The convergence tests 4 through 7 while you were braking at the sink, while you were paralyzed in your car, while you were staring at that ceiling. 3 other tests were running in the background. Test 4. Emotional numbness. The slow draining of color from your world until you looked up one day and realized you couldn't remember the last time you felt anything. Not sadness, not joy. Just static. Test 5. Spiritual muteness. You tried to pray, but the words died in your throat. You opened your mouth and nothing came out. Not because you didn't believe, but because the weight was too heavy for language. Test 6. Identity displacement. Looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person staring back. Wondering if the chosen one label was just a story you told yourself to survive being ordinary. Test 7. The return loop. Every time you thought you had passed, the test came back harder, like a video game boss that keeps regenerating. Hope would rise for a moment, then crash, rise, then crash, rise, then crash. 7 tests, not sequential, convergent, running simultaneously in your nervous system like overlapping frequencies. creating one compound wave that should have shattered you. But here is what happened in that heavenly broadcast room. God stood up. He pointed at the screen at you. At that moment on day 29, when all 7 tests peaked at the same time, and he said to the angels, "They are still standing." Calculate the impressed threshold. Gabriel ran the numbers. He looked up, shocked. 71 out of 72, higher than Abraham, higher than Moses, higher than David, higher than Job. Silence. Then God said, "Create a new category. They are not number 18 in an existing list. They are number 1 in a category that didn't exist until this moment. Impressed plus astounded plus historically unrepeatable." Let me explain what this means. There is a measurement in heaven called the impressed threshold. It is not about how much you suffered. It is about how you suffered. It measures the ratio between what you endured and how you responded. Think of it like this. Anyone can lift a weight when they can see the finish line. But what happens when you are lifting in complete darkness? Not knowing if the weight will ever decrease. Not knowing if anyone sees, not knowing if it even matters. That is the impressed threshold. It measures faith in absolute zero conditions. Abraham scored 68 when he raised the knife over Isaac. Moses scored 69 at the Red Sea. Job scored 70 during his final test. Elijah scored 72 when he called down fire. The highest score in human history, until now. You scored 71 with convergence of 7 simultaneous impossibilities. But here is what makes your score different. Abraham had an angel stop him at the last second. Moses had a visible miracle. The sea literally split in front of his eyes. Job got his family back, his wealth restored double. Elijah had fire from the sky, an undeniable public display. You had silence. Divine silence, no angel, no miracle, no restoration, no fire, just silence and a whisper you could barely hear, and you chose faith anyway. That is why heaven created a new category. You didn't just pass. You impressed God during sustained divine silence while being tested at 7 pressure points simultaneously. That has never happened before. Not in Abraham's generation, not in Moses' era, not in Job's story, not even with Elijah's fire. You are the first category 1. Population, you. Now I need to prepare you, because passing the test activates the enemy's next strategy. Within the next 11 days, 7 attack forms are coming. But you are going to defeat them because I am giving you the exact playbook. Listen carefully. These aren't random attacks, they are systematic, targeted. Designed specifically for people who have reached impressed status. Regular spiritual warfare tactics will not work on you anymore because you are no longer operating at that frequency. So the enemy has to upgrade his strategy. Here is what is coming. Attack 1. Identity destabilization. Voices saying you didn't really pass. You imagined it all. That was just emotion, not God. This attack usually comes 3 to 5 days after your breakthrough. It sounds like your own thoughts, but it is not. Defense somatic check-in. Your body remembers what your mind doubts. When the voice comes, pause. Place your hand on your chest. Ask your body, do we remember that night at 2:17 a.m.? Do we remember the tremor in our hand? Do we remember choosing to get out of the car? Your body will answer yes. Trust your body's memory over your mind's doubt. That is your proof. Attack 2, precedent pressure. If you are really chosen, why isn't your life like Abraham's? Why isn't your path like Moses? Why don't you have what David had? This attack comes from comparison. Defense, category recognition. You are not in their category. You are category 1 of a new list. Abraham is category 1 of the faith lineage. Moses is category 1 of the deliverance lineage. David is category 1 of the kingship lineage. You are category 1 of the impressed during silence lineage. Stop comparing category 1 to category 18 of a different list. Different categories, different timelines, different manifestations. Attack 3. Community confusion. People who used to understand you suddenly will not. Friends who used to call will stop calling. Your circle will shrink. This isn't rejection. It is recalibration. Defense, loneliness, reframe. Your isolation isn't punishment. It is proof. Not abandoned, consecrated, not forgotten, set apart. Jesus had 12 disciples, but only 3 went up the mountain. Moses had a nation, but only he went up Sinai alone. Your loneliness at this level is a mark of position, not rejection. Attack 4, timeline temptation, God said. Soon, but it has been weeks. He said suddenly, but nothing's changed, he said. Watch, but you are still waiting. This attack exploits your exhaustion defense. Impressed operating system. You are not on regular timeline anymore. When Abraham received the promise, Isaac came 25 years later. When Joseph had the dream, the palace came 13 years later. Impressed frequency operates on heaven's clock, not Earth's calendar. Your manifestation isn't late. It is right on time according to impressed protocol. Attack 5. Comparison contamination. Seeing others blessed while you are still waiting. Watching people who didn't go through what you went through receiving what you are believing for. Defense. Replay the broadcast. When jealousy comes, remember they weren't in heaven's screening room, you were. Heaven didn't gather 70,000 angels to watch them. Heaven gathered to watch you. Their blessing doesn't cancel your category. Their timeline doesn't affect your manifestation. Stay in your lane. Run your race. Attack 6. Intensity inflation. Remembering your test is harder than it was, which makes normal days feel like failure. Thinking you have to maintain crisis-level faith, even on regular Tuesdays. Defense, accurate replay. You passed. You don't have to keep passing at that level every single day. The test was for 30 days, not 30 years. You proved what needed to be proved. Now you get to live in the authority of what you passed, not keep repassing it over and over. Attack 7, impressed fatigue. Exhaustion from carrying a category that is too heavy. Feeling like being chosen is more burden than blessing. Wishing you could go back to being anonymous. Defense. Heaven carries the category, you just wear it. Big difference. The anointing isn't on your shoulders. It is in your DNA. You are not holding it up. It is holding you up. When you feel the weight, you are trying to carry what heaven already carries for you. Within 7 days of passing your tests, you received a text from someone who never texts you. Someone you hadn't heard from in months, maybe years. Their message said something like, "I was thinking of you." That wasn't random. That was heaven sending human confirmation through an unlikely source. The second confirmation repeated numbers, the same number sequence showing up everywhere, on clocks, on receipts, on addresses. For some of you, it is 7. For others, it is a personal confirmation number only you and God know. The third confirmation, a dream. Within 14 days, you had a dream where someone looked you in the eyes and said a specific word. The word was ready or chosen or now. That dream wasn't random. That was your subconscious receiving the broadcast too. If you have experienced even one of these 3, comment the word confirmed below. That is you telling heaven, I recognize the witness moments. I see what you are doing. Everything up to this moment has been testimony, evidence, explanation. But now we shift. I am no longer here as a teacher. I am here as a mouthpiece. What happens in these next minutes is not information. It is activation. This is the sealing ceremony. I need you to do something. If you are able, sit up straight. Uncross your arms and legs. Open your palms facing up on your lap. This is a posture of receiving. If you cannot do this physically, do it in your mind. When you are positioned, I need you to say one word, out loud if you can, or in your mind. The word is ready, say it now. Good. Your spirit just signaled to heaven. The ceremony begins. In the name of the God who paused the footage to watch you, in the authority of the testimony just delivered, in the presence of the cloud of witnesses who have crossed impossible thresholds, I stand in the gap between heaven's word and your spirit. This is not a casual prayer. This is a sealing ceremony, an anointing activation, a commissioning protocol. What happens in these next moments will mark you permanently. These are not my words. This is God speaking, child of the impressed frequency. I watched you when watching was all I could do. I saw you at 2:17 in the morning, hands gripping the sink. I saw you in the car, unable to reach for the door. I saw you staring at the ceiling, counting breaths, wondering if hope could sustain a human forever. I saw the night you typed out a prayer and then deleted it because it sounded too desperate. I saw you check your phone 17 times hoping for a message that never came. I saw you smile at people who had no idea you were bleeding inside. I saw every test. I documented every moment. I archived every silent scream, and I want you to know this. Intervention would have disqualified you. Rescue would have reduced the score. I didn't leave you alone. I left you space. Space to become unprecedented. You didn't just survive, you impressed me. And I don't say that lightly. Now let me show you something. Numbers 6:24-26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Do you know what the Hebrew word for bless is? Barak. It doesn't mean to make happy. It means to kneel. When God blesses you, he is not patting your head from a distance. He is kneeling to you, lowering himself to your eye level to look you in the face and speak directly. That is what is happening right now. I seal upon you the divine replay commentary that heaven broadcasted. Every moment we watched, every comment I made, every timestamp we archived, I seal it into your memory. When doubt whispers nobody saw, your spirit will replay me saying, watch this part. I seal upon you the convergence alchemy protocol. 7 tests that merged into one compound. Fire plus water plus wind plus numbness plus muteness plus displacement plus return. That transformation is permanent. It cannot be undone. I seal upon you the impressed threshold matrix. 71 out of 72, higher than Abraham, Moses, David, Job. I seal that score into your identity. You don't have to prove it again. It is done. It is recorded. It is official. I seal upon you the category creation. You are not number 18 in an existing list. You are number 1 in a new category, impressed plus astounded plus historically unrepeatable. I seal that singularity. You are not trying to join others. You are the precedent. I seal upon you the 7 attack forms and their defeats. Identity destabilization. Sealed. Defeated. Precedent pressure. Sealed. Defeated. Community confusion. Sealed. Defeated. Intensity inflation. Sealed. Defeated. Timeline temptation. Sealed. Defeated. Comparison contamination. Sealed. Defeated. Impressed fatigue. sealed, defeated. I seal upon you the loneliest victory reframe. Your isolation is not punishment, it is proof. Not abandoned, consecrated, not forgotten. Set apart. I seal that truth deeper than your loneliness can reach. What I have sealed, no weapon can unseal. What I have marked, no attack can unmark. Consider it done. And now I don't ask, I declare. I declare within 7 days you will see the first manifestation of your impressed status. It will come through a door you didn't know existed. You will recognize it because you will hear yourself say, "How is this possible?" That is how you will know it is from the impressed system, not the regular system. I declare within 30 days someone will come to you needing what only you can give. Not because you are wise, but because you survived what they are entering. Your loneliest victory becomes their lifeline. You will understand then why you had to walk it alone first. I declare within 90 days you will be given an opportunity that is statistically impossible. An open door that defies logic. When you see it, don't question, don't hesitate, walk through. That is the impressed pathway opening. I declare before this year ends, you will look back at this month and say, "I didn't know I was being forged into a weapon." But you will see it then. The convergence wasn't random, it was surgical. I declare the attacks I named will come, but they will come against someone who has been sealed. They will hit a shield they cannot penetrate, and each failed attack will only prove what you already know. You are categorized differently. Now I ask you directly, do you receive this sealing? Do you accept this anointing? Do you agree with heaven's assessment of your month? Do you take your position as category 1? If yes, I need you to say it out loud if you can. In your mind if you cannot. Say the word yes. Say it now. Heard, recorded, archived. You just agreed with heaven's testimony about you. That agreement is binding in the spiritual realm. You just signed the document. It is official. Your training is complete. Your anointing is sealed. The impressed frequency is now your operating system. What you passed in 30 days, you will multiply in 30 weeks. You are not here to survive anymore. You are here to set precedent. Before you go, do 2 things. First, if this testimony resonated with your spirit, if you recognized your own story in these words, comment category 1 below. Let heaven see your agreement in writing. Second, subscribe to this channel, not for my sake, but for yours. Because what I just walked you through is activation number 1. There are 6 more activations coming, each one building on the last, each one anchoring you deeper into your impressed identity. The next activation drops in 7 days. It is called the weapon you became. You are going to need it. You are dismissed, not to rest, to deploy. Go.